Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to After the Credits, episode. What is it? 129. 129.
129.
Oh my god.
We're getting
Hello,
up there.
everybody. To me, my I don't know
My
audience,
X-Men.
my ex audience. I don't know.
My ex-audience.
To me, all my exes. No, everybody, welcome to the show. We got some fun stuff planned. I'm very excited. It doesn't feel like it because we've been talking about it for the last month and a half, but X-Men 97 is back with
Finally.
For season 2, which again I feel like I'd be so much more jazzed about if we hadn't just spent the last it feels
that was
like
such a long
continue.
wait. It was that entire week, or no, actually by the time we were done talking about it, it was airing 2 days later for me.
Yeah. So yeah, no, you lucked out for sure.
I did.
But yeah, we're gonna be talking about X-Men season dose today. 3 whole episodes to talk about, so that'll be exciting. We got my adventures with Superman to talk about, which I'm pretty jazzed about. I don't know. I got real Arrowverse flashbacks and vibes while watching this last episode. I was like, this feels nice. I've missed this.
This episode was quite slammin', if I do say so myself.
You could say that. Very sway, right?
Sway, yeah.
What was the thing that the Impulse said? Didn't
crash.
Crash, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like
we got a new word in the future dialect. So shway, crash, and slammin'.
I like this. We're gonna be talking about some news. We got some Xbox stuff today. There's a Disney thing I kind of want to talk about today. Some DC stuff as well. So we're jumping into that here in a couple minutes. Naruto was first in the chat at 8:28, so he beat all of us here. Hello, Naruto. How's it going, buddy? To be my X-Force/X-Man. Hello, Jeffrey. Hope you're doing well. Cody's in the chat, said, hi, you guys. Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
Cameron's in the chat, says, hi. Hey, everybody. Naruto said, today I learned from a Who culture video that Lila from Futurama is named after a Doctor Who companion. Oh, all right. Very nice. I've seen one episode of Futurama.
I think I've seen maybe an episode or so. I know my brother got into it for a minute. I know the general premise, and that's about it.
Okay.
So
Taz, let's talk about the Assassin's Creed Black Flag. That comes out in a couple days, right?
Yeah, it comes out in a couple days. I'm getting my collector's edition. I've gone the Amazon route, so it's probably not going to get here on launch day, which I'm okay about, just because I know I'm busy during the week. So I can show that off on stream next week when it comes in. But everybody who got early review copies, the embargo, I guess, lifted today. So people are posting all about it. The embargo lifted a few days ago for people who decided to break that embargo, people that will probably never work with Ubisoft again. But it looks really good. It seems like they took a lot of the audience feedback from some of the issues that people had, lighting in certain scenes, or just different gameplay elements and things that were not as true to the original as they could have been, and it seems like a lot of that has been changed for the better. The only caveat I have to everything is that Ubisoft is doing what Ubisoft does, and there's already going to be paid for microtransactions when the game drops. You can get a fire skin for Edward and for the Jackdaw and stuff like that, or an ice skin, and I don't know. It looks silly, goofy, out of place. But here's the best thing about all of that stuff is that you don't have to buy it. There's a lot of new customization stuff in there too that you unlock with these keys that are very similar to Assassin's Creed Shadows. If you played that, I actually did not. But yeah, it seems like For the most part, base game, very true to the original. I'm very excited to play it this weekend, and I'll have some thoughts for you guys next week. And like I said, I'll show off my nice little statue and everything, and all the little collectible goodies that come in that collector's edition. And I was fast on the trigger with that one. The moment that it came up for pre-order, I was like, I need this in my life right now, and it will be a staple behind me for a while. So I'm excited. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
This is a big start to summer games because Black Flag Resynced this week, and then in a couple weeks from now we've got the Halo campaign Evolved remaster that comes out. That if you are a Game Pass subscriber, you will get access to. But if you buy the deluxe edition, I think it's a 5-day early access. And I still have not pre-ordered it. I'm going to have to see where I'm at as far as free time goes. It might not be worth it for me to pre-order, but I know I'm definitely going to be playing through that with my brother, going through Legendary, try to do a fun lasso run, or at least almost all skulls on, because it seems like there's, I think, almost 50 skulls in this game, and those are basically modifiers to make the campaign more difficult. And there's this thing in the Halo community called Lasso, which is Legendary All Skulls On. So basically the toughest version of the game that you can play. So we'll go through, play it on Legendary, and then try to, find all the skulls and then go through it again and play it with all these, different modifiers and everything. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Jeffrey, I wouldn't necessarily call myself an Xbox guy. I'm a fan of all games. I have an Xbox, I have a PlayStation, but I mostly play on PC now. So it's basically, think about the meme where Henry Cavill's sitting down there and the interviewer is like, Xbox or PlayStation? And he's like, PC. Like, what are you talking about? That's the best place to play now. So, but I guess technically anything is an Xbox, but that is seemingly about to change. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
We'll talk about that in a few minutes, yeah.
Yeah. And then I did see also, Jeffrey mentioned the PlayStation stuff really quick. Basically, they said, 2028, they're going to do away with all physical games, which to me is just kind of a slap in the face to collectors. I love physical media as much as the next guy. I will say, though, it has been a long time since I have bought a physical copy of a game. Last game I bought the physical disc version of was Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart when I got my PlayStation 5. Because I wanted the physical game, and I bought the PlayStation with the disc drive specifically because I wanted that physical piece of media. Everything after that, because I've been playing mostly on PC, it's all digital. Your entire Steam library, of course, is digital. So, unfortunately, that is the way of the future, but I think for those of us who like collecting physical games or having game cases, like for this Black Flag Resynced, right? I'm getting the collector's edition. It's coming with a steelbook, but it's a PC version of the game. So, literally, it's going to be a steelbook with an empty case and a code to put it in on the, on the Uplay app and download it, which is unfortunate the way that has kind of gone over the years. And not to really mention the whole fact of, like, do you really own your games if everything is digital? They can just revoke access at any time. We've seen that happen with certain games too. Like, think back to things like High Guard or Concord, things like that people, either bought a digital version of a game, bought a physical version of a game, and that game no longer exists. Anthem. Just to name another one. These are all games that people have bought like physical discs, and now they don't do anything. Like, who still has a original copy of Fortnite on disc? Probably nobody, right? But yeah, it's just unfortunately it's the way of the future. That's kind of how it's gonna go. For the foreseeable future, it seems like, and I don't see that changing anytime soon with how big the digital game market is. And I wouldn't be surprised if, knock on wood, but if streaming games becomes the big thing now, because think about things like Xbox Game Pass or your PlayStation Plus, the Ultimate subscription and stuff like that, where you can, pay a certain amount per month to have access to a giant catalog of games. You don't own any of these games. You're basically borrowing it from the library. And then whenever your subscription is over, you're done. You've got nothing. You've just given them, $100 for the year to play games. And once that's over, you've got nothing. Yes, you've got the memories. Yes, you've got the trophies or the achievements, but there's nothing physical, there's nothing tangible there, because I could go pull up my Xbox 360 right now, put in my copy of Modern Warfare 2, and go play through the campaign without having to be connected to the internet or anything. But if I wanted to, say, 10 years down the track, load in to Black Ops 7 and play that, amazingly horrible campaign, I don't know if I could do it, because that's tied to the Call of Duty HQ, that's tied to, Battle.net and Blizzard and all of that. So who owns it? Technically, you as the owner of the account do, but, as Shortcard just said there, if your account gets hacked, unless Steam support's got your back and hunts down the person who hacked you, you've got nothing, unfortunately. And that's the way of the games industry, and that has caused the big, cultural shift that we just saw announced at Xbox today. So
but yeah, to go all the way back to wherever you were, I'm excited for Black Flag. I'm glad. I'm trying to clear up my schedule with another game I promised to get out months ago, and I'm like, all right, I think I might try and stream it. I might do some streams for it.
Be prepared for an amazing open world experience. Like here's the good thing though too, is they're taking out a lot of the connective tissue to the wider Assassin's Creed world, so you don't really have to know anything. This is literally just a pirate game where you're going from Caribbean island to Caribbean island, completing missions, and you get to play as Matt Ryan, which is awesome. So I think you're gonna really like it. Yeah.
Speaking of Matt Ryan, I got a package to show off.
Ooh.
Package show off. I'm gonna open this. I may have bought something.
Did you buy what I think you bought?
I may have ordered something after our stream last week.
Okay.
And I've been waiting to open it. Let's see. I bought two things here.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, so the one that goes with Matt Ryan. Let's see here. I did get the Pride
live unboxing video.
John Constantine.
Let's go.
I've been looking for a John Constantine for a minute. Just any John Constantine.
There's another one on there of him sitting by the tombstone. That one's a little bit more expensive. I kind of want that one too. It's sitting in my wish list.
They have one from the TV show that came out at Comic-Con 10 years ago that I've been trying to find for years. Same
as the Diggle as Green Arrow.
But I'm very happy I get to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, there's a lag. There's someone's lag.
You're dropping out a little bit. I'm not getting any error, but
okay, we'll see. And then I did get our Dreamer Funko Pop.
Oh, nice.
Isn't technically from Supergirl, it's from DC Comics, but I'm that's Dreamer.
Yeah. I mean, they basically just made the CW Dreamer now just mainline DC Comics Dreamer, because she's writing comics now too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome.
That's what I've kind of had to do with a bunch of my Arrowverse crossovers. This isn't CW Batwoman, but I'm it's.
I actually do have
the
I do have the CW Batwoman one, actually.
Yeah, I do too.
She's over in my big pile.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, I didn't have a Kate Kane. It's kind of I wanted.
Okay.
Same goes for, my Superman. This was good enough for me.
Yeah. In my corner next to my 90s Flash statue, that is actually a CW Kate Kane statue.
Oh,
Stargirl, nice.
Not CW Stargirl,
yes.
but
close enough.
It looks yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. One day I gotta pull all my Funkos down, and we've got to do a stream that's just showing off every Funko that we have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, let's do this gaming topic thing. Let's look at this Xbox thing really quickly while we're kind of on the topic of gaming. Let's see. Is this it? No, it's not.
While you're pulling that up, I've got a great fact for all of us. Tom Holland initially thought Christopher Nolan hated his performance in The Odyssey because he would cut filming after 3 minutes. He later found out IMAX cameras only run for 3 minutes. at a time.
That's crazy to me. That feels like a thing we should have approved.
That seems
upon
like
at this
common
point, right?
knowledge. That seems like somebody like kept Tom Holland out of the loop
Sure.
specifically.
I feel
But-
like we gotta like there has to be a way to fix IMAX cameras at this point, right?
I mean,
Like-
I don't know. It's like, hey
know.
Tom, like you're fine. You're fine. These things just they got to cool down for a little bit. But big Xbox news, giant layoffs today. 3,200 employees, 20% of the workforce. They're also spinning off, not closing, which is good, but 4 other game studios. Arcane, Compulsion Games, Double Fine, Ninja Theory, Undead Labs. They're all either spinning them off into, their own studios. They are, from what it seems like, retaining their intellectual properties and everything, or they're just completely selling these studios. So if you've been keeping up at all with kind of the background works of Xbox and stuff over the last few years, like they've acquired a lot of like larger game publishers and things like that. Like they own Bethesda Games now. They own Activision Blizzard. They own a lot of these like larger game companies. That's why, you've got your Call of Duty on Xbox Game Pass. That's why we're probably going to wait a while for our Fallout New Vegas remaster and things like that. It's because Xbox now controls a lot of those bigger studios. They did buy up some more independent studios, and things were not moving forward, I guess, as fast as they wanted them to. So they've kind of cut their losses. They're selling them off or allowing them to kind of spin off, do their own thing, which is nice that they're, again, not closing them like we heard PlayStation did recently with quite a few studios. But the biggest thing coming from this piece of news is not that the layoffs happened, is not that the news happened. It's obviously not that, it's unfortunate that, over 3,000 Xbox employees now have lost their jobs. But it is that the new Xbox CEO, Asha Sharma, has been so like open with the inner workings of Xbox. If you go over onto Twitter, if you check out the post that she put out, she literally posted this big giant Xbox team email that she sent to everybody, basically being like, hey, this is what's going on. Xbox is losing more money than it should. It's not as profitable as it should be. This is what is happening. This is what we're going to do to change it. Yes, it's sad that we are going to have to lay off some employees, but this is what the restructuring looks like. This is how Xbox is going to move forward. This is how they're going to try and come out on the other side of this. And I think that we have to give her as CEO props for this, and we have to give Xbox, I guess, the benefit of the doubt here, saying, hey, they went through kind of a rough patch. They have to go through this tough restructuring process, but hopefully that means that we get better quality products going forward. My biggest concern, though, is that this now means they're going to shift that focus away from, how we have Halo, the Halo campaign Evolved coming out on PlayStation, right? I don't think future Halo games are going to come out on PlayStation now because of this. I think they're going to focus a lot more on trying to get consoles into homes, right? Remember the whole big thing of this is an Xbox, this is an Xbox. You buy, a Windows laptop, that's an Xbox. You've got, your little ROG Ally handheld, that's an Xbox. Like, you don't actually have to own, an Xbox Series X or an Xbox Series S to play the entire, game library, right? You don't have to do that to buy into Game Pass. Like, I could get Game Pass on my PC that I'm streaming from right now if I really wanted to. So that has been kind of their big model going forward. But as we saw with PlayStation, how having a lot of their first-party titles coming over to PC and everything has lost them a lot of money, it's done the same thing for Xbox. And again, they've had to, unfortunately cut ties with some studios, restructure things, and then try and, push forward and become the studio that they once were, say, back in the original Xbox or Xbox 360 era. And a lot of this is kind of fallout from Phil Spencer's time as the CEO of Xbox as well. Because, again, a lot of, not necessarily shady stuff, but a lot of things that weren't necessarily true to the brand, it seemed like happened then as well. Again, Bottom line, it's never great to see a big layoff like this happen or a big restructure like this happen. But hopefully this is kind of a rough patch that means they're gonna come out better on the other side. And that's kind of my 2 cents on it. Darren, I know that you're not necessarily as plugged into the gaming scene. I know you're more a PlayStation gamer as well, but what are you thinking on this?
I don't know. I feel like from an outsider, like it seems like Xbox has kind of been struggling for a minute. I feel like every
Yeah,
couple months is like, Xbox is shutting down. I'm like, oh no, and then it doesn't, and then I don't know. It's not surprising. Xbox isn't something that I don't own an Xbox, so obviously this isn't going to affect me heavily. But yeah, it's always sad when you see these massive layoffs. Poor Blade seems to be just consistently in a spot of like
yeah,
not sure of the future in the cinema route and the gaming route.
yeah.
But yeah, I hope all these workers find new work, and I don't know. I hope they find their footing again. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just
they've been struggling.
The games industry is tough right now. Like
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood is rough, the games industry is even tougher. Like the amount of times that studios open up, they start working on a game and it gets canceled, right? Like think about what was it, the Wonder Woman game, right? That was Monolith, I believe.
Yeah.
Was working on that, and that they got kind of shut down or whatever. It's a tough space right now in the game world, and I think a lot of it has to do with this massive shift to a lot of digital products and things like that. It's just the games industry is going through a rough patch, I think, and games are getting more expensive too. They're getting more expensive to make. They're getting more expensive to buy for the consumer, and they're getting tougher to the barrier to entry is becoming tougher as well, because a part of this that I didn't even touch on is the hardware is becoming a lot more expensive, right? Is PC gaming used to be kind of like the pinnacle, right? Like, oh, you have to drop, $1,000 or more on a, on a good gaming PC if you want to be able to, match up to what consoles do and stuff like that. And consoles were kind of like that entry level, that the everyday product, like that you can put in the living room. You pay, your, $300, $400, $500 for a console. You've got it, for whatever games get thrown at it. But now you've got your base Xbox, you've got your lower tier, the entry level, the Xbox Series S. Over on the PlayStation side, you've got the PlayStation 5 Pro. You've got all of these different tiers to it. It's like, okay, if you want the best of the best, you're going to pay like $800 for a PlayStation. Okay, at that point, then do you spend $1,000 on a gaming PC? But now even with Valve, who owns like Steam and everything like that, the largest PC gaming platform, they just came out with their own Steam machine, is basically a PC that is in the shape of a console. This thing has kind of crashed and burned on entry because it is too expensive for the average consumer, and it is not price to performance what people wanted from it. And with the price of graphics cards, with the price of processors, with the price of RAM and storage now, it is like the barrier to entry to just get into gaming has never been higher. And when that barrier to entry is so high, when it's so tough to just get the actual console into the hands of your consumer, or when, in the case of Xbox, you're literally losing money on every console sold because it is so expensive to produce these things now, you have to have, successful games. And not every game is going to be, a GTA 5, a GTA 6, Red Dead Redemption 2. They're not all going to, sell like hotcakes. So you've got to make these tough decisions as the CEO of the company. And again, I would not wish that on anybody as far as the big layoffs and stuff go. But again, I hope this restructuring means that better days are ahead in the gaming department. So
Sure. Speaking of better things ahead, Jake is here. Hello, Jake.
Yo.
hey.
So,
How's it going, buddy?
yeah,
How's it going?
News.
I get in here and the first thing I hear is hotcakes. I'm thinking, oh, Taz, you flirting now? I see
Not
me and
quite.
Taz are. I see me and Taz
We're
are kind of
matching today.
Yep.
Yeah.
Come on, Darren, get with the program.
No.
No,
Just that
I
delay
don't
in
think I will.
No. Darren's like, no.
You don't have an X-Men
made a
hat or
mistake.
something?
No, I don't have an X-Men hat. I
Here's
got.
what you got to do is you got to get the what is it, the legend? Oh.
There's a T-shirt. There we go.
What is it, the Marvel Legends? Didn't they just come out with like a Cyclops visor?
Yeah, they did. They did.
You got to get the Cyclops visor and just wear that the entire stream.
I may or may not have already ordered one.
Oh wow.
We'll talk about this later, stranger. Okay, we're gonna go through a couple of news I want to talk about.
Okay, I got one piece of news.
Do you want to
So
do that really
after-
quickly, Taz?
Were you guys talking about the gaming side of things quick about PlayStation going full digital?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck you, Sony. That's what I got to say about that.
Yeah. On a
What's your one piece of news, Taz?
well, I guess it's a multi piece of news because we've got
Oh,
to,
boy.
right?
This is Backrooms again, Taz.
Yeah.
God damn
We've
it.
got our
Taz.
Backrooms update. So Backrooms is going to come out on digital tomorrow. The film has earned over $350 million at the box office. I don't know where we went. Also, to the Backrooms Everything Must Go, the extra 15 minutes came out this weekend. I sadly did not get a chance to go see it, but I did maybe possibly see it. That got posted to Twitter, so if you do want to see it, it's out there. Do I think it's worth going to see the movie for a second time? Not necessarily. Apparently Kane Parsons basically made it in Blender in 2 weeks. So it's something that'll probably be on the special features or something that he'll upload to YouTube eventually. But think about it as like a prequel to the rest of the movie, but tacked on at the end. Is this extra 15 minutes of footage leads directly into the found footage opening of the main film. And that's all I'll say on it. It's interesting. Again, if you're a fan, so basically what people said is if you are a fan of his Blender videos that he's posted on YouTube, then you will be a fan of this extra 15 minutes worth of content. It's nothing crazy, it's nothing breaking, but it's just a good little, extra piece of a little extra nugget of Backrooms there for you. And then I do have one other thing, just something very fun as well. Another movie statistic with a fun little graphic here is that Obsession has now broken $400 million at the box office.
What is that picture?
That photo's crazy.
Warner Brothers executives, after seeing Obsession make $400 million on a $750,000 budget.
I hate AI.
I don't think it's AI. I think somebody just photoshopped it. Either way, it's kind of funny.
Can't tell.
I don't know. I think it looks like one of those bad photoshops. That's just me. But
Some news
anyway,
about her in a little bit too.
yeah, there is. But Obsession has finished its its theatrical run. It broke $400 million. It's one of the most profitable films of all time. So who would have thought? Who would have thunk it?
Yeah, when they made it for $14 on a bus token.
Yeah, really.
Well, now that we're talking about it, let me actually bring up a thing really quickly that I thought was very interesting. And then I actually have to get through a couple of news things because I don't want to be too long here. But there was a post I thought was very interesting, which was Hollywood's highest grossing original films of this decade. I thought was fascinating. So you had Elemental was number one, which really shocked me. Elemental being is crazy, but that went on kind of like a crazy ramp in 2023 because me and Jake talk about this a lot, but it flopped opening weekend. No one went to go see it.
Didn't start
and
great.
Then over the course of the whole summer, it was in theaters up until September, and it just slowly made money from families.
Yeah, because it just released at a really bad time because it was in a very overcrowded summer.
Do we know what the budgets were on all of these?
Don't.
The only one I know offhand is Obsession, which is 750K.
Hopper's being number 3 is interesting because the commentary when this movie came out was it's a flop, right? It had like a nearly $200 million budget, or something like that, and so like it didn't make a lot of money. But it's crazy to think a movie that didn't make a whole lot of money is still number 3 on this total.
Well, I guess these are all just original films, though.
Well,
yes, absolutely.
If that right there is what it made on a $200 million budget, it made its money back, which by definition means it didn't flop. So people really have been misconstruing what flop and underperform and all these terms mean. They just like to throw them around without knowing what they are.
Yeah.
Sinners number 4, which I would have thought Sinners would have been a little higher, but 4 is still very good. Tenet was number 5, which did weirdly well because that was early COVID. That was like 2021, I think, and was not reviewed well either. So this is kind of an insane number for Tenet. You know what I mean? Free Guy's number 6. Free Guy makes sense. Free Guy is like Cameo the movie, so I that one makes sense to me. I feel like out of all these, it's the most franchisey one out of the group.
Is that a word, franchisey?
Nope, made it up on the spot. Migration is number 7.
I like it.
Weapons is number 8. Encanto's 9.
Nice to see Weapons on there.
Absolutely. Encanto being number 9 is crazy to me because it is easily Disney's most I'd say popular of the last 10 years. Like
when did that come out?
21. It was like November of 21. So it's still COVID. We're still in COVID era, which is why I think it did so low. But once it really hit Disney Plus, it blew up. Like all the TikTokers were doing the dances. It was doing very well. It was one of Disney Plus's biggest movie things ever. But yeah, it's crazy that's only number 9. But again, COVID, so makes sense. And then Wish, which again, people also considered Wish to be a failure at the time. Like it didn't make a whole lot of money. But again, still top 10. So
I haven't seen half of these movies.
I mean, that's fair. I get it.
Yeah, same. The only ones I've seen are Obsession and Weapons.
So Obsession, Weapons, Free Guy, Sinners, and the list is gone. I can't see it.
I still want to see. I want to see Tenet. I want to see Sinners.
Tenet. Thank you. That's the one.
I have not seen Tenet.
Yeah. That's on HBO Max now, right?
Tenet?
I think so. Tenet. Yeah.
I was about to say Tenet or Sinners. Tenet. I think
both. I guess. Yeah.
It's been 5 years, so it should be on streaming somewhere.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It doesn't feel like that long ago.
No.
I want to talk about kind of a Disney thing that I've been kind of thinking about a lot this week. Jake will not give a
Moana
shit.
Starring The Rock?
Jake will not give a shit.
Jake will not give a shit.
Oh my God, I was right.
Yes, absolutely. I want to talk about this because going into the year, Moana was one of my bets to make some of the most money. Moana is one of Disney's most franchisable franchises of all time. Just 2 years ago, franchisable.
Take a shot every time Darren says franchisable.
Or makes like a new word out of franchise.
I mean,
franchisalistic.
Just 2 years ago, Moana 2 made $1 billion at the box office. And I just wanted to just quickly talk about how crazy the Moana franchise has been. So the first one, like that first original movie, is not that old. The movie came out less than 10 years ago.
I was about to say it's 10 this year, isn't it?
Yeah.
November it will turn 10. Yeah. So It came out 10 years ago. It did solid at the box office, did pretty well, but not like insane. Then Disney Plus happened, and Disney Plus it blew up. Like all the kids loved this movie. It was like pretty consistently for 3 or 4 years in the top 10 most watched movies on Disney Plus. It did very good. And I think it was back in 2021 they're like, "Hey, we're going to make a TV show. We're going to do a new Moana TV show. Dwayne Johnson's back and all this stuff." And then a couple years later, we hear nothing about the show. We don't know what's happening with it. But a little movie called Black Adam comes out. And it doesn't do very well. It kind of,
it didn't change the hierarchy of power in the DC universe?
It did not change the hierarchy of the power. And thus so, very shortly after that, we get an announcement of what is a live-action Moana movie, which was a very weird announcement to be at the time, because I was like, okay, what's happening with the TV show? It's less than like 10 years old. Why are we doing this? It was a very weird time. And then I think about a year later, I think at this point we're in like 2023, maybe early 2024. I think it was 2023. They announced that the streaming series would now be moved to a movie instead. We're doing, we will retitle it as Moana 2. And then Moana 2, despite some of the, the critics not loving this movie, despite it starting as a TV show, goes on to make $1 billion, the most profitable movie of that year and of Disney's history. And now we move ourselves to here, just a couple years later, and this movie isn't looking to do the greatest, especially on a $200 million budget.
Ooh.
What were they spending $200 million on?
Dwayne Johnson's abs, of course.
I thought he said.
Yeah, definitely.
I thought he said Dwayne Johnson's ass.
I mean, steroids are expensive.
I mean, you could say he's hit rock bottom.
Yes.
And listen, I think this is going to do okay. I don't think it's going to be a complete flop for Disney, whatever. Shakar is saying like a lot of these movies, and I do agree with that for sure.
Sorry.
Good.
I mean, that just brings up something. I think you and I were talking about it within the last week. Like, if they do just Moana again, people you're going to have people that go there loving it for that reason, and people who walk out of it complaining, "Oh man, wish they did something different." Because
so wait, it's
like
just the animated movie, but in live action. Is that
basically? Yeah.
Well, people you see people will complain about that, but then like a year and a half ish ago, How to Train Your Dragon did the same thing, and people really, from what I understand, liked that movie.
Here's what I think the issue is.
It was a longer time gap between the actual animated film coming out and the live action remake. Like that's
what I was going to say. There's no nostalgia for Moana.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to I think why Lion King and Aladdin and How to Train Your Dragon works is like you could be like,
Lilo
oh
and
man,
Stitch do well?
It made $1 billion. Yes.
Okay, so yeah, that did well too.
Wait,
so
did Aladdin do good?
$1 billion.
Oh God.
And I think
Will Smith Genie.
These movies do well because it has an audience of like, hey, this is a thing I grew up on, or like this is a thing I have not seen in a long time. Now I get to show these new people in my life a thing that I grew up on. But Moana had a movie 2 years ago, and I want to bring this up here. This is my final straw why I don't really want to see this movie. Moana 3 is officially in the works. Why in the world would I give a shit about a live action Moana, which is a carbon copy of the movie?
The first one, yeah.
The first one, when I can wait 2, 3, maybe 4 years for a new story in a franchise that I love. I love that first movie. I adore it. It's one of my favorite Disney movies of all time. I love it so much.
Yeah, we've never had a thing where like a live action remake gets made while a franchise is still actively coming out with new stuff. We've never had that.
Yes.
I mean, I see why they did it though. Is because if they had waited, say, another 10 years, The Rock could not have played his role.
And I think that's fine.
This is why they did it.
Yeah. Yes. But now they're losing money, and Moana 3 is going to have to make $1 billion if they want to make back any of their money.
And I think it will.
Disney losing money is like someone tapping them on the shoulder.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting because like these live action movies, they're very weird because they've been doing less consistently. Like Snow White didn't make as much as they want. Little Mermaid didn't make as much as they wanted, even though that was still a profit. But then you'll have like a Lilo and Stitch, which was one of the highest grossing movies last year, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a very it's definitely more of a gamble than it was in like 2019, 2020, sort of, where like they were all kind of guaranteed money makers. Now what we're seeing is the more guaranteed money makers are these direct sequels to these modern animated Disney movies. Moana 2 made $1 billion, Zootopia 2 made $1 billion, Inside Out 2 made $1 billion, Toy Story 5 is on its way to making $1 billion. So I'm going to be really curious. I would not be shocked if they start going into the archives of like, okay, what are some of these other movies we can start making into sequels? Like,
and I hope that this also shows them that they need to actually just make new animated films and stop trying to live action remake everything.
well, I mean that's the thing though, Taz, is they're not doing well. Like,
Yeah,
people don't care to see these original. I mean, like
even though
just
that's
looked
exactly
at-
what they preach needs to happen, they still don't go support it.
I mean,
well, how
we,
many
like,
of
just
those movies on that like top grossing originals? How many of those were Disney films?
3 or
A
4?
couple of them, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But again, like, you have to look at the numbers. Like when like Hoppers made 300 million, Inside Out 2 made $1 billion, right? And so
yeah,
you can't necessarily like if I worked at Disney, I'd also be like, yeah, make the thing that's making us more money, which are these sequels and these live action remakes, sort of thing.
yeah.
But then again, why are those big franchises making the money now? Because back then they took a chance on them when no one had ever heard of them.
Agreed.
True.
Agreed. And I do hope, like, one thing I want to see, and I don't think we will, but I want to see some of these newer Disney movies get some of those sequels. Like, I don't want us just to be going back to the early 2000s, late 90s for this nostalgia. I want, like, I mean, but like even you though, Jake, like you were like, I haven't seen any of these, and I'm like, that kind of goes into probably their mindset of like, well, our main audience hasn't seen these newer movies, so why would we do new IPs on, the newer stuff? But I would love like a like Elemental sequel or like a Luca sequel.
Well, would you say I'm the main audience for that then?
Nope.
No.
So here's what I would say.
It's families. Sure.
I would think that the main audience for this live action remake would be the kids who grew up on the original, who are now 10 years older, and maybe
that which
are
would be us, technically. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Who saw them, had fond memories of it when they were growing up, and then are like, oh, cool, a live action version of a thing that I watched that was animated. I'm older now. I don't really care about animated stuff, so I'm gonna, watch this live action thing. I think that's maybe their corporate side of thinking. However,
that part is a little bit stupid. If they automatically assume animation means tailored toward kids, I hate that mindset.
Agreed.
But that's unfortunately, I feel like that's how it is, though. Right? That is what these think about what the general audience for a movie like this is. I would think the demographic of people who went to go see the live action Moana was probably a little bit skewed, maybe a little older than the demographic that saw Moana 2 or that would go see this third movie in theaters.
Did that just come out this past weekend, Moana, or does it come out this weekend?
Upcoming. I think it's next weekend. It's not out yet.
But it's interesting though, here's my thing too. I am somebody who would much rather see, again, an original animated movie or a sequel to a good animated movie than a live action remake of an animated movie that I've never seen as well. Well, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
Is I've not seen a lot of these new Disney movies.
Totally fine.
Is it just I don't know, I'm very selective of the movies that I spend my time on and that sort of thing. And I've not had a reason to go see a lot of these things. Like as I've gotten older, they don't really appeal to me as much. And I get that because I'm not the target audience anymore. Sure. And then I look at something like this again that is like, why are they making a live action version of a movie that just came out?
Sure.
Is also the thought process there is, to me, it just doesn't make sense. That would be the same as a game company saying, oh, this game that everybody liked that just came out 10 years ago, let's remaster it. Oh, wait, they do that. Yeah. And they never turn out well. Think about if anybody knows what happened with the early Assassin's Creed remakes, right, or remasters, think about the Ezio collection. Not very good. Think about the Assassin's Creed 3 remaster that came with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I think is what it was. No, it came with Valhalla. I believe. Valhalla, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was worse than the original. They delisted the original version of the game. And now the only way to play it on PC, unless you have now on your PS3 or your Xbox 360, you have that physical game disc of the original Assassin's Creed 3. The only way to get it digitally now, which is how they want you to play it, is to play this remaster that's janky looking, has its own host of issues, does not feel like the original, and that is kind of now the tainted legacy of that game because they tried to remaster a game that had just come out 10 years ago.
To bounce off that a little bit, though, the upcoming remake
Less than
that
10
they
years
do
ago.
have, the upcoming Black Flag remake actually is really promising.
They're doing it the right way. It is also too. It is more of like a reimagining than just a standard remaster. It's not quite a remake, like say the Resident Evil remakes. It's not like a Resident Evil 2, 3, or 4 remake, but it is a full from the ground up, engine change, combat system change, but it still keeps it still feels feel like and Black appeal Flag. Of the original. And two, if you want to go back and play the 2013 Black Flag, it's still there. You can get it digitally. You can go pull out your disc and pop it in your console if you still have a disc drive.
Sure.
Or you're not on PlayStation, which does not allow backwards compatibility.
Yep, I still have a PS3 right over there, and I still have my Black Flag discs somewhere. I have always been one for media preservation, and things like what's happening in the world right now just amplify that stance.
Yeah. What a great full circle moment.
We talked about that like 20 minutes ago. All right, I'm gonna zoom through some headlines here, and then we'll hop into shows here. Marvel TV boss Brad Winterbaum wants to do 10 seasons of X-Men 97. Yay or nay for what? This would be 8 more seasons of
8 more seasons, show. Morty. 8 more seasons of X-Men 97.
Not to mention the 5 seasons we had previously, which would make 15 seasons. That's supernatural numbers.
Yeah, screw you, supernatural.
Less episodes, but still supernatural numbers. Do we want 10 seasons, or is it like a play it by ear sort of thing?
Cyclops is gonna optic blast from the nursing home. Sure, I'm here for it.
If they're good, yeah.
If they're good, down. Yeah.
I don't want 10 seasons just for the sake of there being 10 seasons. Sure.
However, 10 seasons might also take 20 years to come out, so we'll see.
Well,
I mean, they're doing yearly now. They're doing yearly.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. They're already working on season 4, and we're not even done with season 2 yet. I've been saying this. They are a lot more ahead of the curve than news outlets often believe. Because back in September, I was talking to one of the cast members. They were already recording for season 3 8 months before season 2 started. So they've really got the ball moving on a lot of these things.
Do you think if they went back to, say, like an older release model, like how like actual like cable television was released, we could possibly squeeze in like a season and a half per year?
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Think about like the old like the like the CW method. Or
I was about to say, I don't think I'd want to CW it.
Yeah.
I want to like. This is a weird tangent, but Phineas and Ferb just announced that they're I'm going somewhere with this. I promise that their next season and this is
all
a
leads
cable
back to
TV
Phineas and
shows.
Ferb.
I know. I'm sorry. But the like back half of season 1 aired in January of 2026. Yeah. They said that their next season will not come out until July of 2027, which is an entire year and a half. And 2 years since the first season started, which is insane for cable TV. Now I know that also counts as they're doing some Christmas specials and they're doing like a movie as well. But like I was like, that's streaming time for a TV show to come out, and I was like, that's a little concerning if cable TV is also taking that long.
Did someone say cable?
Cable. I'll look at the Scooby-Doo and Transformers crossover. That's fun.
What the fuck?
Fred is the mystery machine.
Indy says that she has recently met with director Jack Schaefer.
Jake.
Is that Jake? Sorry, I mean I've never heard that name before. Jake Schaefer. She's open
Schreier.
to. No,
Sorry.
no, Jake, no.
No,
She
it
opened
says Schreier.
I disagree, Jake. I disagree.
I disagree. You disagree with the English language?
Yes. She's opening to star in a Marvel movie. She says somewhere else too that like she has interest in maybe an X-Men thing, that she knows that they're doing X-Men.
Well, that makes sense when you talk about who she met with.
Mm-hmm.
Who is making the X-Men movie? Yes.
Yep.
Is there anyone we would like to see her play?
I've seen a few characters thrown around.
I think it's news. I typically do not report on stuff like that. I think it's news that she met with the director. I think that's the biggest part of this article.
Let me hear how she does a Southern accent.
You think Rogue?
Interesting.
Okay.
I mean, because granted, I'm like, this is her now. X-Men movie is a couple years away,
sure,
at least. So,
sure. I could. I don't know.
Would you hate me if I said Mystique?
I don't want another Jennifer Lawrence scenario.
Really? Yeah, that's kind of why. But like, I'm thinking the fact that she like changed personalities so much throughout Obsession, that could work for Mystique, who is like so many different people.
It could also.
I don't know. That's my justification.
I mean, it could also work for Rogue when she.
That is true.
Abilities, because I mean, look at how they did Rogue in Evolution when she was first starting
that is
out.
True.
Like she touched Nightcrawler, she started speaking German and teleporting uncontrollably. So you could have that same nature in somebody like Rogue.
That could be cool.
I think looks aside, my first thought was Kitty, but I guess it depends how big of a role Kitty has. Would be if I wanted her in here, right?
True.
Like,
yeah, because I mean, the biggest role Kitty's had in anything is Evolution.
They could easily make Kitty their like Jubilee, though, right? Like, I think she's a character that can easily slide in to that kind of role. But
I saw somebody say Domino as well.
I don't see that.
No.
Oh.
No, I don't see that.
Let's see. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, I'm just trying to think. Like maybe. No, actually, no. Never mind. Ignore that. I was about to suggest something, but I'm like, no.
Magneto, guys. Magneto.
Oh, Polaris. Polaris, actually. Polaris, maybe.
Wanda.
Magic.
Yeah.
Magic. Oh yeah, Colossus.
Magic ain't bad. Magic ain't bad.
I don't know. I'm still curious to see what I'm curious to hear her do like a Southern accent now, because I feel like she has the Rogue potential. Where'd Darren go?
I don't know.
Oh, Taz, it's our show now.
Yep. All right, we're taking over. Before Darren gets back, shave her head and she'll be Professor X.
Oh no! Or you know what? What the fuck? Cassandra Nova. Why not?
Oh gosh.
Okay. I was lagging really bad, so I just reloaded my stuff. Okay. Couple more here. Supergirl will be available on digital July 28th.
It's gonna be on digital before Spider-Man comes out. Is crazy.
The movie's not that bad.
It's really not. That's bad. That's awful.
Hell, I'll just say it. I liked it more than Superman.
Oh wow!
Because I didn't like Superman that much.
I wish I liked it more than Superman.
I mean, that bar's not high for me because I didn't like Superman that much.
I thought Superman was pretty good. Like I liked it too. I didn't think it was quite as good as Superman. I was hyping Supergirl up for the last year, saying it was going to be better than Superman. And I went into it really wanting to say that it was, but it just, I don't know. It didn't quite hit it. It just, like, there were too many things that just didn't line up. And the fact, too, I went back and I looked at the Woman of Tomorrow comic, and I'm just like,
yeah.
I had to take it down a few pegs just because of that. And
it makes sense that they took the Woman of Tomorrow subtitle off because it barely adapts it.
And then am I wrong? Correct me if I am wrong on this, but I think I saw something like there was like an extra 20 minutes or something of movie that got cut at some point that they cut it down for like studio stuff, which what are we doing? This is literally the issue that
cut of the movie.
Yeah, this is literally the issue that we had in the old DC EU. So why are we already doing studio interference? Like, what's going on here?
Yep, and that's the first thing you hear when a movie doesn't do good at box office. There was a lot of studio involvement.
Yeah. So what is it? Release the Woman of Tomorrow cut? Like,
I mean, it doesn't help when your director flat out admits, "Yeah, I didn't read the book beforehand."
Ugh.
I think, unfortunately, this is a good call. As much as I hate to say it, like, it's not making money. It needed.
No, I think I saw 100 million, maybe.
I said it a year ago when we saw the lineup for June. I said they need good word of mouth opening weekend, or this is not going to succeed. And it has not had good word of mouth. It has had the opposite from good word of mouth. And again, this has nothing to do with even the quality. This is just,
I
don't know. It's not like this is a bad movie. It's just like, hey, this is nothing to write home about. And then you're pigeoned between a Toy Story, which is on its way to making $1 billion. You're followed up by Minions. You're followed up by Moana. You're followed up by The Odyssey. You have Spider-Man inside. Like there's just no place for this movie to make the money it needs to. And so I guess, they're probably thinking, hey, let's just put it out on digital and try and at least get some of this money back while the movie's still somewhat trending and stuff like that. It's just depressing. Yeah, I think we're looking at one
it's so unfortunate to see that that's the route that it went. Like I just, in another world, in another universe, I guess, like that it maybe that they actually one for one did the Woman of Tomorrow's story. Like, could it have done any better, or would that not have even saved it?
Again, it's all about word of mouth, right? Like that's why things like Obsession and Backrooms did well, because people came out and were like, "Holy shit, you guys have to watch this."
It's movie.
And then a lot of people weren't happy with comments that Millie made while promoting the movie too. So
I don't really think that. I don't know. I think that's such a small percentage of the audience. I think that's really just.
I'm not saying it was the biggest factor, but it was still a factor.
I guess for losers, maybe. Okay, let's end our little thing here. Creature Commando season 2 expands to 10 episodes, up to season 1 7. Thank the Lord's Almighty. Taz, this was our issue with season 1.
Yeah.
G.I. Robot gets a massive story this season, his favorite ever, and adds that David Harbour is hilarious as season 2. I liked season 1. I thought it was solid, but my biggest issue is I think the last couple episodes really shit the bed. I think
it's still my least favorite thing from the DCU so far.
It's the only thing from the DCU I've really liked.
Oh, wow.
I think it's close to being my favorite. The last couple episodes, I was so shocked how just nothing made sense and how it just kind of, I don't know. I feel like it really, I don't know.
It fizzled out. Like there were some really good things that it presented, and then it didn't only not stick the landing. It just fell and crashed and kind of.
We had more questions than answers by the end.
Yeah.
And I think we said, like, if season 2 answered some of those questions, we'd be a little bit more positive on season 1.
Yeah.
It didn't really seem like, I don't know. This just makes me happy. Like, I think 7 episodes for 20-minute episodes were also just hard. And I think now that they have kind of this established brand, it's. I think I will like season 2 more than season 1. At least is my hope.
Yeah.
I know you were a huge fan of it, Jake. Right, Jake?
I mean, I had my issues with it, but I think it's definitely my favorite thing that the DCU's done so far. And given how up and down I am with James Gunn projects, I think this is up there as one of his best.
I am curious too, because James Gunn isn't James Gunn.
James, run!
I can't talk to
Run, James, run!
He's gonna have to start running if this next movie doesn't do well.
My brain and my mouth are not on the same level at all this stream. But yeah, I'm curious. I think James Gunn exiting would either be the best thing for it or the worst thing for it. Like it really depends, because he does have a very nice style that I do enjoy. But
yeah,
I'm down for a new comedic style as well. So we'll see. Alrighty. Well, I mean, speaking of the DCU, let's talk about some Superman.
Some adventures with Superman.
My adventures?
My adventures, actually. Kidding.
Our adventures with Superman, comrades.
John Kent's adventures, I'd say, actually.
John L.
Sure. Man, I've liked this season for sure. Like, I've enjoyed it. I've had my issues with the first three, though. Like, it's been a very slow start, I'd say, to a season compared to the last two seasons. But this episode, I was like, okay, there's the show I love. I think after last week, I kind of forgot why I liked the show. It was a little bit too much for me last week, and I was like, all right, this is all right, I guess, but not the show I remember it being. And then this week, I'm like, oh yeah. Not only did it remind me why I love this, I got a lot of Arrowverse deja vu while watching this, and I was thinking today, I'm like, I think this might be the closest thing airing right now to the Arrowverse in terms of its tone, in terms of the story they're telling. It feels very early Flash to me. It feels very early.
Yeah.
Got some remnants of Supergirl in there, some remnants of Superman and Lois in there that I really appreciate. And I got a little nostalgic, I guess.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, no, I thought it was really good this week. A lot of stuff that we had been kind of speculating on, things that have been kind of brewing in the background, really came to a head this week. It almost feels like, what was this, episode 4? Yeah, is that this season started with this episode? Like that the first few episodes were kind of just like setting the stage, but now we're really okay. Stuff's going on, like stuff's about to go down, and
that might be the show.
This is why we're here. Because I think last season did take some time to kind of get going too.
I remember like this time last season there was like a Superman dating show episode or whatever, and like I remember being like, man, this show really fell off. And then there was a point where I'm like, oh shit, I'm a fucking idiot. I just needed them to. I feel like Stargirl did this too.
We're back.
Stargirl did this thing like once a season where I'm like, this may have fell off, and then they did a thing where I'm like, never mind, those episodes are great. I was a moron. This is a great show, actually. So I was very impressed with this week's episode.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of see what Darren's talking about there with some early, Arrowverse tonal similarities. Like I got a little bit of that same feeling too. And I'll just say I'm curious with how this show is going to handle that certain character that shows up. I mean, they'll probably do it a lot better than the Arrowverse, but I mean, granted, that bar is incredibly, incredibly, incredibly low because the Arrowverse did a bastardization of this character. But what do we think of when what do we think of when a certain stranger shows up?
I mean, I think that's kind of partially where my deja vu is coming from. I get a bit of Nora Allen, I get a bit of Mia Smoke, I get a bit of Impulse, I get a little bit of Lucifer, whatever the heck his daughter's name was.
Yeah.
But I think it's definitely one of the more like nonchalant versions of the story I've seen.
Yeah.
Like besides Lois, who is at like a 10 with it, everyone's pretty like.
Everybody's
chill.
like, oh yeah, time travel, cool. Hey, Uncle Jimmy.
Yeah, and
wait, what did you just call me?
And yeah, Lois, like I don't know, I kind of like how this episode showed like her just anxieties about the future, and like she's like with Rory, yeah. With like her being, on the human side, it makes sense that like they showed her dealing with, the human aspects. But they didn't downplay those aspects when Superman's challenges were in the episode. And there's one line, actually, I'm actually glad Darren brought up the Superman and Lois parallel. There's one line in this episode that made me think of Superman and Lois in particular. And I really think just encapsulates what Superman is to this day. And it's that moment where he's like, this is what Superman fights for, a better tomorrow. I'm like, that part right there, that is what Superman stands for.
Superman,
because it makes me think of that last Superman and Lois episode when she's like, what do you think Superman and Lois Lane will be remembered for? I'd like to think truth, justice, and then he finishes a better tomorrow. Not the fucking American way bullshit, because let's be honest, I wouldn't want superheroes like that associating with what that currently looks like in our global climate, and that's all I'm saying about that. But yeah, I'm really glad that they're going for that better tomorrow concept, because I always think that that's been, because Superman's idealism and the hope he inspires shouldn't just be limited to one country. He is the world's champion. So I think this episode really represented that well.
No, it did, and I do really like. I think this version of John also represents this version of Superman very well, because you see the kindness of Superman. You see how he inspires, but he also has that like curiosity and this want to learn from Lois. And I think it's very clear, like, oh, okay, this is clearly their son, and she is a spitting image of both of them. This episode definitely did convince me more that we will actually see Superman die, though. I feel
like it's gonna hurt.
There's that line in like the first 5 minutes of like, that was like, you're Superman, you'll always be here for me, nothing's gonna change that, or like something like that. And I'm like, that's a line if you're gonna kill a character. Like that's
yep.
Yeah. And I guess like going all the way to the end is basically we get kind of, and then we can kind of work our way back, is we get the bombshell. Obviously it's okay. Why is he here? Why were you sent back in time to, you're here for a reason. There's some sort of purpose. And he reveals that not only is Clark dead in the future, but Lois is too. Right?
Yeah.
So this is some kind of like crazy like alt injustice something doomsday apocalypse world that he comes from. That it's seemingly all caused by Cyborg Superman, Hank Henshaw, which is an interesting take to me.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't necessarily.
Thing I was talking about earlier was Cyborg Superman.
Oh yeah. I don't. Even at this point, I don't necessarily take him as like this threat that could kill Superman and like cause a post-apocalyptic future. But I guess from the little glimpse that we did see, it does make sense as to now why Lex is helping, right? Is because this is Lex's creation, right? He is the reason why, Cyborg Superman has gone off the deep end. So I guess he does feel some sort of obligation to help.
I gotta be honest. I really dislike this version.
Really?
I've given him 3 seasons. I keep being like, no, he'll get there.
He's kind of a pushover, right? Like he's not like
such a dumbass.
He doesn't really, and he doesn't really have like, he's not really threatening. He's not really, I don't know. He's not imposing, right? He doesn't feel like he doesn't feel like that like evil genius that would go to lengths to either, steal Superman's DNA and create a clone, or, create this cyborg Superman or whatever. Like it's not, I don't want to say it's not adding up, but it just like,
it's not consistent. Like,
no,
I think sometimes he's like the evil mad scientist that can do all these things. And then you have him this episode being like, oh, I believe him. He is on our side. I'm like, were you born yesterday? What?
Yeah, really.
How are you? And again, like I've given him time. Like like season 1, I was like, okay, he's over the course of the thing, he's going to become the version. And then season 2, I also didn't love him, and I'm like, all right, in time maybe they'll find and now we're 3 seasons in, and I'm like,
nope.
I don't see it yet, and I think it's interesting. Most people don't seem to have a problem with it because it to me it feels very Jesse Eisenberg Lex, which I've kind of defended that version of Lex over the years, saying I think with more time people would have grown to like him, and I think people wanted it right now, right this instant, to be the exact version that we know. And I'm like, I don't know, I like it for like what it is, but then this version, it's been, almost 30 episodes of this over the course of like 4 years, and people are like, no, he's great. I'm like, all right, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't really give it a pass either. When it comes to the villains on this show, it's like you have Lex on one side, and then like when it comes to the villains, I'm sorry, Brainiac wipes this version of Lex by the villain side.
Oh, for sure.
Easily my least favorite thing. I love this show a lot. I think it's great. Its villains are easily my least favorite thing, and I think it actually got to me this week where I'm like, I kind of just realized how much I dislike this version of Slade as well. Like, I think he's a fine character. That's not Slade Wilson.
He's like a Pokemon trainer. I don't know.
I've kind of not liked this version of Slade from the get-go, to be honest.
Yeah, I think he's fine if you don't like. I think he works as a villain in the show, but like if you try to be like, this is like, and it becomes a little hard. And again, I give him a little bit of a pass because like, okay, whatever, they're doing their own thing, whatever. But if you think about it too hard, it will bother you a little bit.
Yeah, that was part of the reason why I didn't like. I know he wasn't there very long. I think he was only there in the last season, but like I really didn't like what Smallville did with Lex either, where they just made him that hardened military general. But then, like what you were just talking about, Darren, where people were like, "No, give Lex a little bit of time." No, Slade. But but to your Lex point, people are saying, "Oh, give this version of Lex a little bit of time." How long did it take in that fucking show for Lex to become the villain? And people were fine with, like, they seemingly didn't have a problem with how long it took for Lex to become a villain in that series. But I've seen people make that same complaint here, and I'm not saying you're wrong for making that complaint, but I just find the double standard a little bit funny.
I think Smallville works a little better for me because it is the journey of Superman. So I think it works better there. You are seeing the origins of both Superman and Lex Luthor over the course of time. But I get you. I want to talk about Kara this week because I'm really curious what we're doing with future Kara. Because John definitely has an aversion to her. He's trying to hide it. He's trying to be nice, but he slowly steps away, like behind him, very slowly every time she comes on screen. And so I'm like, I'm really curious what he thinks of future Kara.
I didn't necessarily pick up on that. I more so thought that it was like he wasn't necessarily avoiding her, but was more like, yeah, cool, whatever. I'm here to spend time with my parents. That's kind of what I
think they just like lean into it like multiple times. Where like, he's kind of like, oh yeah, it's Ankara or whatever. And then like when they, she wants to play baseball and it's like, yeah, it's fine. And then when like she's about to go help Clark, he's like, hey, can I just do this one? But they lean into it like 4 separate times, which makes me think there's something that happens in the future.
I get that, but also too is I think that also those are all lined up with him then doing things one-on-one, either making a save with Superman or going over and like checking out the article with Lois and things like that. Like I think it was more so just for him to then spend that quality time with them, because I think I would say maybe Kara's still alive in that future.
It kind of reminded me of that like Nora Allen spending like the time with Barry type of episodes, because she didn't get to know him
exactly.
And you can see that same sort of dynamic there where it's like one parent. There's obviously a different dynamic with the other parent because they were in the life more. So, but to your point, Taz, I think you might have a point there where I think there's a chance Lois might be dead in that future too.
That's what they said.
I think he says it right at the end of the episode.
Oh, does he actually say it?
Yeah, I think he says like you're both. Yeah, And he alludes to it a couple times too, and is like, "Oh, you guys are so young," like or like he's got that photo too, right? Where it's him as a baby with the two of them, but that's the only photo that he has, so it signifies that they died when he was pretty young, too. So he doesn't have those memories. It's like, oh, this is just how I envisioned you, and that sort of thing. Like,
yeah. And yeah, I'm curious too. Like I think that could allude to it too, because I'm wondering if Kara's alive and they're dead, like I wonder what Kara looks like after Clark and Lois have been either died or murdered or like whatever. Like I could see her leaning a lot more into her hardened past. And even if she doesn't go full on evil, more like anti-hero sort of Kara, who's like,
possibly.
I'm gonna I'll do whatever it takes to do, whatever. Which could also make sense why he's closer with Lex in the future. Like his parents are dead, Kara's gone crazy. I don't know what Jimmy's doing in the future. I know he's also
he was
dead.
No, he was working with Lex. Remember, then he got disintegrated. Yeah,
yeah. So yeah, I'm wondering where like I don't know. I think that stuff is going to be really interesting to kind of see their dynamic.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. I think I don't know. I am not crazy, Jeffrey. Every time that they had a like interaction, they're very standoffish. I don't know.
I will give it to you if that is what ends up happening. I personally didn't see it. I didn't feel that was the direction that they were going there. But again, you could have definitely picked up on something that was very subtle as well.
We need to put
and I just didn't,
and then we'll readdress.
Yeah, we will revisit this theory later on for sure.
Yeah, no, that's interesting, and I know we already talked about it a little bit, but yeah, I think Lois is definitely I don't know. I still feel like Clark isn't getting a lot to do. I think this season is definitely very focused in on Kara, very focused in on Lois. And even Jimmy.
I was about to say we've been getting a lot more Jimmy focus too.
Jimmy, which isn't an issue for me yet. It might eventually, but it's just something I've kind of noticed where Clark is kind of just doing stuff. Although this was my favorite episode for him this season. Like I liked the bonding stuff between Clark and John. I like he's a lot more relaxed about the whole situation. He's not freaking out yet. I guess it makes sense though, because this is kind of what he's been wanting anyway. Like he wants to
it's a good dichotomy, right? Clark is fully embracing the future, whereas Lois is not necessarily not embracing it, but is just she's not ready for it to come too quickly.
Right.
Sure. Yeah, it's interesting. And I think it's going to be interesting because she slowly almost accepts it at the end of the episode. It's like, okay, the future is looking good and the future is looking bright. And I am looking forward to it. To then flash, oh, our future isn't looking bright and we may be dead and, our son's going to be left alone.
Oh, no, the future's coming faster than you think.
Uh-oh.
Is there
SpaghettiOs.
Is there a chance? Do we know how old John is? Did they say?
I would say probably late teens, early 20s.
I don't think they specified.
Because I was going to say, like, they don't look that much older in the photo. And if he's invading now, a part of me was like, is there a chance she's pregnant now? Like, is there a chance? And, like, if Clark dies
that
soon,
could be the...
Right? If
that could be the cliffhanger for the season, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like the invasion is happening now, and so if it would have to be, I assume, soonish, unless it's like an ongoing war for like 10 years or something like that. And he dies towards the end. I don't know. Like that kind of hit me at the end. I was like, oh, is it possible? I guess it could be possible. I don't know. We'll see. I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
Do we have a photo of their photos? Because I know they showed us a photo of like what they look like when he was young or whatever.
Right.
But like in that photo, it didn't look like an invasion there. It looked kind of fine.
No, it looked normal. Yeah. Again, I don't think it's necessarily an invasion. I think it's this event that we just saw at the end of this episode, which is Hank Henshaw going off the rails. But it's now happening at a sooner point in the timeline because now John has interfered.
Yeah.
Maybe it is directly tied to like the peace treaty with the dinosaur people.
That was fun.
Yeah. I'd like to see if this series can actually do something interesting with Cyborg Superman, just because so many adaptations have failed to do that. I mean, even in the comic books, when they brought in them in the whole Reign of Superman storyline, the whole notion of, hey, let's kill off Superman and replace him with 4 not so powerful Supermen. I always thought that was kind of dumb, and like Steel and Superboy Prime, I thought were the good things to come out of that. That story. Eradicator and Cyborg Superman were not. And I thought when it came to the Arrowverse, I thought they did a terrible job of adapting Cyborg Superman in so many different ways. And so I'm going to be curious if this show ends up being the one that it really does it right, because they did that with Brainiac. I really like this show's version of Brainiac, whereas a lot of other versions, both animated and live action, there have barely been any aside from these Temu versions, but they haven't really been able to crack the code yet. We'll see if James Gunn can do it. I don't know how likely that is, but I'm excited to see what the show does with this character.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe I'm coming off like a hater tonight. I don't know.
I got
no.
Huh? What do you got?
Oh,
that thing. Okay.
Like, I feel like that could just be them. I feel like it just looks like they had like a nice haircut. I don't know.
Like, I mean, this does not look like it's too far off in the future.
Mm-hmm. Like, I could see at the latest a couple seasons time.
Yeah. Like I said, I think that's going to be our cliffhanger for the end of this season. Whether that puts us at a point where Clark is dead, Clark gets sent to the future, Clark gets sent off world. I don't know what's going to happen, but I think that is that's my theory, at least, on how we end this season. We're almost doing our Reign of the Supermen beforehand to show us who will then be protecting Earth in Clark's absence. And John is going to think that he half succeeded, like Lois survives, but then again Clark is missing, presumed dead, is quote unquote dead, that sort of thing.
And I think to use a good little bit of a parallel here, I generally don't like the Reign of the Superman story and the way it's done. I think this is like the one exception where they kind of did it. You could argue Superman and Lois kind of did that story little bit by little bit leading up to the final season by setting those other people in as, Earth's defenders. Like they had John Henry, they had, Jordan, obviously. And then in the beginning of that last season, you get Nat with her suit, you get John being incorporated into the mix more. And that's one of the ways you can loosely adapt that story and do it well. So we'll see if this series can do it.
Agreed. I'm not super aware of her, but I know Twitter is kind of freaking out over this. Let me see if I can find it. It's really close to here. Come on. Where is it? I was going to say Kara found her horse.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the space horse, but yeah, it is a horse, yeah.
You know what? At least Kara got her horse in this story.
That's the thing people have been kind of laughing about. It's just like the movie didn't do it, and then like the week following they do it in this show.
Yeah, that is kind of funny.
I feel like it would have been so easy for the movie to do it, but what do I know?
Oh, I didn't even realize that we had like Ma and Pa Kent here.
Yeah.
What do they think of John?
They're like, yeah, it's just another Sunday.
I mean, I'm not used to a lot of stories in this day and age where Ma and Pa Kent are alive. So
and I'm very happy for it.
That is true too.
I that's been one of my favorite things the show has done, has been able to keep them alive.
Yeah.
At least for now. You know, it's in their
Yeah,
back
that's
pocket
true.
if the show ever wants to ever needs to create some drama or something. They can always off. They have two Kents that they can use as emotional discourse. Um,
3
Character
technically.
development.
sure.
Well, here's my pitch for the end of the season. Basically,
Okay.
is so big battle, something happens again. It's the Clark is either dead / missing, and then you've got John kind of sitting there, basically waiting to Back to the Future and like disintegrate from existence. And when he realizes that he doesn't, then that's probably the moment that we realize either A, Clark is still alive, or B, Lois is already pregnant at that point.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't want it to turn into like a whole messy, like flash forwards thing on like Arrow where the storylines just get really convoluted, characters start being really unlikable and things like that. I don't want it to turn into that.
I could legitimately see the season ending with Kara and John going to the future together. I could see that. Like I think we're almost in a spot of like, again, we have Superman, Supergirl, Superboy, potentially a Bizarro that could potentially become a sort of heroish character.
I keep forgetting Bizarro is in here, but he's just out there chilling somewhere. I don't know what he's doing right now. I would guess that he comes in as assistance in this big fight.
That's it's not a bad guess.
Would it be crazy?
Wait, have you seen most of this season? All of this season?
No, I haven't. I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm just saying it's a logical statement.
Okay. That sounded more like you know something that we don't know.
Would it be crazy if they just made Bizarro Connor Kent? Would that be a crazy thing? Like they gave him the clone.
Wait,
no.
You're saying that a show's adaptation of Bizarro turns out to be a whole different character in the end?
Where have I seen that one before?
We talked like early on. It's like, okay, they gave that to Bizarro because they weren't doing that version of Superboy, and they're doing the future thing instead, which I'm fine with. But I'm also like, he technically has his DNA. Like you could literally just make him a Superboy and call it like he's like, my name is Connor. I don't know what my last name is, and it's an arc of him. Like,
you just gave me another. You just gave me another good / bad idea too.
No.
What if Cyborg Superman is Doomsday? Because, yeah, you know what I mean. Like he's already a cyborg. He can already whatever. He's like, oh, Superman.
It's just a robot.
I'm not just a cyborg version of you. I'm your Doomsday, or I don't know, something like that.
Say that again. Post-credit.
Respectfully, no.
Respectfully, I agree with you, but that's where my brain went.
Fair enough.
I have seen this. I know comic people are like pretty pissed with the show currently, but I don't know. This show has always done its own thing. Like from like season 1, episode 1, it was clear, hey, this isn't the most comic accurate version of Superman, and I think that's for me. And I know that's not going to be for everybody that has a deep love for these comics. That's okay for me.
Yeah,
Flashback to us ranting about Lex for 5 minutes.
Yeah, true.
I mean, but granted, I don't think our complaints about Lex weren't that it wasn't like comics. It just wasn't a well-made character. And honestly, like I just get tired of seeing that be the basis for everyone's argument. And to which my response has always been, if you want it to be like the comic, go read the damn comic.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I mean I would love a thing where like in like 2 seasons we're like, oh my god, this Lex made sense this whole time, we just didn't see it yet, you know what I mean? Like I want that moment.
He is the
hero.
villain of the story.
We just couldn't see it.
Couldn't see it yet.
He was a thief. Sorry. Sorry. Taz, when you start quoting that stuff, Taz, I have to follow through with it.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, let's move on to what I think everyone wants to talk about. Something I've already talked about
big
like
one
3 times this week, but I'm more than happy to talk about it again.
Yeah.
Which is X-Men 97 season 2 premiere. We've made it. Obviously we took our journey through season 1. We watched the trailers last week as we wrapped up our journey, and now the first 3 episodes are here. 3-episode premiere. I mean, how are we feeling, fellas? It's finally here.
I think we were right on a lot of things. That's how I'm feeling. I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling like we kind of predicted the future a little bit. In a lot of aspects. Yeah. I mean, we kind of got the layout of these 3 episodes down from the titles and everything. Is episode 1 is focused on our story in the future. Episode 2 is focused on our story here in present day. Episode 3 was focused on the past. 1 and 3, very apocalypse focused. Episode 2, not quite as heavy, more like in the background apocalypse stuff, but more so like the fallout of what is happening in the past and in the future, and how we're seeing that play out in present day.
You get the other side of the effects of apocalypse too, with Cable being front and center in episode 2.
Yes. Yes.
The X-Force, the overall mission to stop apocalypse.
What did you say the name of this team was again?
X-Force.
I was so happy when I saw that, dude. So happy when I saw that.
And they gave them their own intro.
Yep.
Not only did they give them their own intro, but with like a harder bass to it. Like I love it.
Now
I loved it.
That's the one intro detail that everybody's talking about, but I want to point out one, and I even brought this up in the video I did, that I don't feel like a lot of people noticed. In episode 1's intro, not only do you see Wolverine in the brown and yellow suit, which is the last suit we saw him in, but also when he does the claws, you hear, just listen to the sound, it's not the metal shink that you hear for the metal claws.
Right, it's more like bone,
It's a bone claw sound effect. Insane detail.
Yes.
I think it's so impressive because that original show had already had one of, if not the greatest opening credit scenes, or like opening intro scenes of all time.
Yep.
And I think the show kind of really upped the ante with that. Is that
it's given the Invincible title card a run for its money a little bit.
It's given Invincible a run for its money and everything. God,
what?
Motherfucker.
It's giving the Invincible.
I forget that's a thing you do.
You got to do it per episode, Taz. I think that's we have to fit it in somewhere.
It has quick favor, if you don't mind. Let's not bring up that show again, please.
What do you mean in?
Just never not be funny.
Someone at that animation team needs to look at Marvel now and take notes.
I will agree. It is like consistently looks incredible.
Yeah, it does.
And there are times where I'm like, they're allowed to look this fucking good. Every time Cyclops does anything, and like anytime he does any of his blasting stuff, I'm like, oh my god, this is so good.
And one of my favorite aspects of the action in season 1 that this first episode showcased, seeing Morph transform into those other characters during the action scenes was really damn cool. And in episode 1, he turns into Thor for a minute. I'm like, holy shit. And you never saw Thor in any of those older shows from back in the day. So
just like
it's the first time he's appearing.
It just flows. It just works though with that animation style.
And that's how you incorporate Morph well, because I mean, granted, I know in like seasons 1 and 2 of the original show, he's got a pretty decent sized role, but in action scenes, all he ever really did was fire a gun. And like this show actually knows how to incorporate him well and do it creatively. I really got to give them credit there. And during that same action scene too, whenever Wolverine goes to stab one of the robots, you hear the breaking of the bone and how it's actually causing him pain to stab into something. Again, just great detail. I'm really happy the show's back. Darren's probably not going to be happy because I'm not going to shut up for the next 6 weeks about it.
No.
How do you think he morphs the like hammer? Is that part of his body that he's taken apart?
Oh, I mean,
or his hammer?
I mean, it could just be like an extension of the hand.
Sure.
Because I mean,
I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say that about anything, like like swords or
sure, yeah,
gun.
Yeah, because I mean,
every
like,
time I have to nitpick the morph thing because I think it's a fun like conversation.
Because I mean, you saw him morph into pardon the pun.
You saw morphin' time.
You saw him transform into in the original show for like a split second. I know there's not any action in it, but in a split second in the original show and later in this season from a trailer we saw, he changes into Deadpool.
Sure.
So that would be just like the same sort of question you have to ask there.
He did Psylocke last season too, which also had the swords. So
it's
like listen, I think Morph is just one of those characters that will always be very like, don't think about it too hard or you will find things to nitpick about it. So like this isn't a criticism. I just think it's fun. Ronan, if you want to talk X-Men again, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, that second episode, man. Sorry. We'll get there. I'm trying not to jump all over the place.
Yeah, okay. So episode 1, it's our future episode. Which I guess I wasn't under the assumption all those characters were in the future because they didn't outright.
Yep, like most of our characters did get blasted to the future.
Yeah. They like only showed Scott and Jean last season, so I guess I just assumed like Logan and Storm and stuff were just somewhere else we had.
Even though you didn't see them at the end.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, they're like in a middle ground or something. I don't know. I thought they were like in 2010 or something, like a new base area or something. But no, they're all there. So it's Scott, Jean, Storm, Logan,
Forge,
Morph,
and then Forge,
and then Forge goes to go find the 5.
Yeah.
And then this episode moved a lot faster than I thought. Like the stuff we do in this episode, I thought was like a seasonal arc. I thought we were going to spend 2 or 3 episodes in the future with these characters. No, we kind of wrap. They kind of wrap it up mostly in that episode. Carries over to episode. What is it, 2?
Well, episode 2 does come after 1, so yes, that is how it goes.
Sure. But I thought all that stuff was very interesting. Scott and Jean's exploration of like, okay, we're with our son again. This is good. We like this, dealing with what is fate. Are we supposed to be here? Are we messing up the timeline? Are we messing up Nathan's future or past, if you will?
Yeah. And I love Jean's response where she's like, screw any timeline that doesn't let a child be with their parents.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Ironic that they might have also been with another one of their kids.
Yep. I
didn't know if you knew about that yet, Taz.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. Yeah.
So I think that's where we're all in agreement that is, that's who
that is
supposed to be. Yeah.
Unless they do a switcheroo on us, but I think based on what she saw in her eyes, I think it's a pretty good.
The square head shape and white hair is not for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
When it first happened, when she pulls off her hood like in front of Rogue, or I'm sorry, not Rogue, in front of Storm, and she has the white hair, I'm like, that's Storm from the future. No, obviously it's not Storm from the future.
Well, okay, so here's my thought, right? If she has the power of the Phoenix, why did Storm have to channel the power of the sun?
In the palm of her hand. Sorry. I had to.
Maybe she doesn't. Maybe she's not as strong as she used to be. I don't know.
She's not at that same level of someone like a Jean, typically.
Okay.
Okay.
So oddly
I don't
enough,
know
too,
shit about that character.
that did make me think a little bit more about our Spider-Man character, a little bit, or Spider-Man casting. Sadie Sink's character.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, people have been saying that's her for forever, but like, I don't think that would make much sense either.
No.
No. Yeah, I don't know.
That's a good theory.
I love the fight scene though. I love when they're fighting the Apocalypse's what's it called? They're his like henchmen.
The Horsemen.
The Horsemen. Thank you. When that's coming in, and Scott's like, yeah, where we come from, we're called the X-Men, and you have the music, like the way the music enters into that scene. You have the beating of the drum. Oh my god, I got chills. I was like, oh my god, this is so sick. This is so awesome.
Yep.
So,
man.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, even though I didn't, I think I liked this storyline in season 1 more than other people. I think it's actually handled really well here, and that's the whole Forge and Storm story. I know some people didn't really dig that in season 1. I actually kind of liked how this first episode handled it, where Forge is like, a man of science and a woman of faith, being together. How is that gonna work itself out? And I think the conversations between the two there are really well done, well written, but they're not like overly in your face with the dynamic between those two. And again, Darren, you were talking about like the Cyclops visuals really doing it for you. And I know we touched on it a little bit earlier, but the Storm solar scene was the visual peak of that episode for me. That looked incredible.
I'm forever grateful for what we've been doing with Storm, because Storm is one of the characters that I would always piss me off in the original show. They would either knock her out or do something that she couldn't face off any threat, because Storm is a character that could easily take on like 99% of the villains that they faced off in that original show. 97%, sure. It always pissed me off that they would never let her use her abilities.
Did it do it? Did it do that to you in season 1 of 97 when they took her?
I was going to say when she was literally out for half the season.
But I think like that made sense to me. Like I think like her, like I don't mind her powers getting taken away if it makes sense for the story. I would hate when they would just like knock her over the head or something and she would just not be there for the fight. Where I'm like, she could do this all by herself. Like she doesn't need the team. She could just do this shit. And I think I don't know. They're like they're showing that she is a goddess. Like before she got taken out last season, you saw her like turn all the sand into glass and take on the Sentinel by herself, and like that stuff was like, oh, she's cool now, and I think they know how powerful she is.
And I love how during that solar sequence, you hear that score from the bit of season 1. During that sequence in the first episode when they have that whole give them the forecast bit, and the music changes to kind of a theme centered for a Storm that's very heavy on the piano keys. You hear that same score during the solar sequence here in this episode, and again, just another one of the attention to details that I really liked.
Did we or did we not like the fact that it was mentioned multiple times that they had to go back to the 90s?
To the 90s. It's that cheese that makes the show.
I didn't mind it.
They I think they ride that line incredibly thin.
4 or 5 times.
I think this show consistently rides that line of like it's almost too cheesy. It's almost too much,
almost,
but they never fully go over to me. Outside of maybe the Mojo episode, but who cares? It's Mojo. He's supposed.
It's kind of supposed to be wacky like that.
Sure, yeah, but also. It's never I'm never at a point where I can't take the show seriously, because I think it has so many badass, incredible, like holy shit moments that I sometimes forget it's supposed to be set in the 90s. Not to say 90s stuff isn't badass, but like I feel like some things of this caliber, sometimes they get a little bit too cheesy with it, where it's like, oh, look how things used to be back then. The show doesn't really do that for me. It's just always pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, I mean the '90s were known for their they were definitely known for their extremities in the '90s. They were known for everything just being ramped up, extreme, and raw. Like that was just a thing back then.
Sure. And then any final thoughts on the first episode?
Well, I mean, episode 1, 2, obviously we've got a lot of stuff with Nathan, with Nathan Summers, and just the fact too is like he's kind of learning about himself, learning about his abilities. You get the big reveal that obviously to him that Scott and Jean are his parents. And he gets, the reveal like, oh, hey, I've got these, psychic abilities too. You've got Scott, reciting the message that they left him as a baby when they were sending him away into the future and everything. You've got all of the stuff with the techno-organic virus and, finally kind of like the, that just the fact that he had to put his hand into the device to try to fulfill his destiny, I guess is the best way to put it, right? He is, whether it is made up specifically to get him to the point where he should be because Rachel Summers knows what the timeline is supposed to be, or that there is actually this prophecy of somebody who will take down Apocalypse eventually. But I thought that was all very, very fun stuff. Again, giving us a lot of Cable backstory, which then led perfectly into episode 2, which was our big Cable-focused episode in the main, in the 90s. The main present day. Yeah, in the 90s. Also, Cameron, fun... Oh, go ahead, and then I'll...
Just really quickly, legally they have to.
Yes,
if you've worked on it at all...
Yeah, same thing as
have to be included.
As to why somebody's name was still in the credits for a lot of the Arrowverse stuff for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and I think goes to show even more how bullshit this person has been over the last couple years. When he went on his whole thing of like they're taking me out of the credits and like they're not even showing what I've worked on. It's like,
I'll tell you what I worked on if you sign up for my OnlyFans.
Yeah, no. There was that huge, there was an article with him recently where he goes over all this stuff. So I'm like, yeah, that's a very convenient time for this to come out. That's the new episodes happen to drop on.
Yeah.
Jubilee focused episode. Yeah, I think episode 2 might be my favorite episode of the drop. I think maybe from just a perspective of the original show. I know I already talked about how Storm kind of pissed me off in that original show. Jubilee's another character that would often piss me off for similar reasons. Jubilee's a character that would always, because she is the kid character, the newcomer, she was always go sit down, she'd be the first to kind of get knocked around. She never got the real focus and cool moments that your Scott or your Logan or even your Storm or your Jean would get. She was always designated to the kid character, the one that would get kidnapped every 5 episodes or so.
The kid character getting kidnapped? What?
Whoa! Who would have thought? I think she proved herself a worthy addition to Marvel Rivals in this week's episode. I think she would be a very fun character in that game.
I think she's in season 9.
Oh, she's coming to the game, really? Oh, ooh, that's gonna be good.
And
that's great.
I think it's easy to forget for some people that from the very first episode of all of this is when she got introduced to that world, and she's been in it that long, and I think she was really helped a lot by season 1 of 97, and
Agreed.
This episode I think made her a much better character than she had been up to end to that point, because I never disliked her before. I mean, I think there was a part of me that enjoyed the character because I had that same sort of aesthetic, or not aesthetic, but I guess habits that she did of growing up around then, where it would be sneaking off to the mall or the wherever spot, on a skateboard to just get away from everything, just either be on my lonesome or with friends around that time. I think because of those traits is why I never really minded that character because I saw a little bit of my own
Mm-hmm.
habits in there. But no, this episode really did a lot for her. And this, I'm sorry, I got to do this. This is how you do a needle drop correctly.
Sure. No, it's such a rewarding moment to see this character that had not got the chance to really prove herself come in here, and I think distancing her from the main team is like probably the best thing they could have possibly have done for her, to be like, okay, she's an X-Men and she keeps all of her morals that she got from that. And then you see her getting recruited from the X-Force, and you see Psylocke training her, and you see how she banters with Cable. I think is really cool, of just like,
yeah, the fact that she's not afraid to like stand up to Cable and be like, "Hey, that's not how the X-Men do things. You're kind of going a little too future for my taste."
No, it's really cool, and I think it adds a lot of layers to this team. A team that, like, you know, I'll be honest, I'm no expert in X-Force. Like, I know of them.
An expert.
Expert in X-Force. But no, I think it's really interesting to parallel, you know, even what's happening in, you know, today's world. The storyline of, you know, we get what was X Faction. We also get in
X Factor.
Factor. Yeah, sorry.
Would you rather be part of the X-Men, the X-Force, or the X Factor?
Well, definitely not X Factor. Fuck them.
Well,
innocent children.
Well, I love how, like, this episode or that episode, episode 2, whenever you first see X Factor at the beginning, and they're like, "Who are you?" and they go, "We're X Factor. We're definitely the good guys." Parallel that to the start of '97, season 1, when Cyclops saves Roberto, says, "Are you a good guy or a bad guy?" Named Cyclops, definitely good guy. So both Summers brothers say that, but there's a big difference in meaning in the way one says it and the other says it. And like,
yeah, because one's a discount Cyclops,
yeah, and
as they say.
One would probably be fit in another organization. What? Sorry.
It's very interesting how a lot of these comic book shows are mirroring the real world recently.
Art imitating life.
This is the third comic book show in the last 6 months that has a plot line about the government funding a team to legally pick up people that don't fit their agenda. Which, you know, not to get political, but is a very real thing right now in the world. And I think it's so fascinating to have this, I guess not fascinating, but to have this team that's like, we're helping the mutant cause, as they're kidnapping mutants and throwing them in cages. And, you know, there might be there might be some commentary here if they weren't like all children, pretty much. Like, these are children that, not saying they couldn't have done nothing, but like, doesn't seem like they did anything really to justify you locking these innocent kids in cages. And it's so crazy that they're like, no, we're the good guys. It's like, are you though? I don't see any point in this where you can justify this behavior.
No.
Yeah.
And I like that moment between Jubilee and Polaris, where Jubilee talks some sense into her, gets her mind straight, and she says, you know, like, "Hey, you know, like, thank you for reminding me what I'm in this for." And just that little subtle thing, you don't know outright, but like what Jubilee's going to do, but just the way that it's said, and then the expression on the characters' faces. I can give you 5 minutes. How you use them, that's up to you. And then you see just the expression on Jubilee's face. You know what's about to go down. Just, this show is one of the best examples of being so clever with the writing and trusting the audience to follow along with what's happening instead of spoon feeding you everything and treating you like an idiot. Because if they hit you over the head with this stuff too many times, it gets really aggravating. But they write it in a way where it's so easy to follow.
Yeah. And I love too when she comes back at the end and she's like, "Hey guys, what's going on? What happened here?" "Oh
Yeah.
no, there was a prison break? What? No."
She's like, "Where's Jubilee?" Yeah.
I do have to separate my disbelief a little bit with that, though, because like, I'm like, that speech was the thing that make you turn heel. Like, if it felt like it was very easy for her to change her morals on this situation.
I don't know. My logic with that is that, like, I think because the change came so easily, kind of proved that her heart was never really dead set on it, so she could have been easily swayed. Like, because she was always just kind of riding that middle line, and it just took that one positive force to knock her back over to the good side.
I guess my question is, like, how did you get in that situation in the first place? Like, it wasn't the crying children in cages that got you there. I don't know. Like, it's hard for me. I guess
it's almost more like she doesn't have like a strong opinion one way or the other. She's just like, all right, I'll just be on whatever team wants me.
It's just
that is kind of the nature of a lot of X-Men characters before they really establish their moral grounding. Is they're kind of just on whatever team.
They're just like, oh no, I'm not brave enough for politics.
It's just going to be really hard for me to like Polaris for the rest of the season after her being able to stomach that, in my opinion. Same goes for Havoc. If we ever get more Havoc stuff in the future, it's like, yeah, but you were the equivalent of Ice for mutants, and so like that's going to be, I don't know, but I'll be curious to see what they do with, because I think she's a pretty big part of the season, unless they just showed a lot of it in the trailers and just to make us think that. But it seems like she's part. I don't know. It seems like she's kind of part of the main group this season, so we'll see.
Yeah, you will.
Okay.
Ooh. Speaking of Havoc,
does Polaris know she's Magneto's daughter? Does she?
I mean, it's pretty obvious.
Jake question. Jake's more.
I feel like it would be pretty obvious.
Well, yes,
right?
but there's like we know.
Right, but like what other mutant has magnetic abilities though? Like. That's kind of like a 1+1 situation.
Wait, what? Sorry, I got thrown off for a second. What was the question?
Does Polaris in universe know that she is Magneto's daughter?
That she's Magneto's daughter.
They have not showcased that yet. So because she was in the original show for a little bit, but never on the same time as Magneto. So, they had that episode near the end when where you had Eric with Wanda and Pietro, but Polaris was not there during that time. They haven't addressed that connection between the two of them there. She doesn't know that she's the daughter in the events of the show yet.
Yeah.
But that seems like such an oversight, though, right? Because, again, if you're a mutant with magnetic abilities...
I mean,
what other mutant has magnetic ability? Like,
well, I feel like he might actually know, but has just kind of kept it secret because, what was it in the finale of season 1 of '97 when Xavier probes Magneto's mind, and you get that vision of Polaris with Wanda and Pietro. I think that kind of hints that Magneto, that's kind of his secret child that he's kind of burdened with guilt by. But the rest of the characters don't know that. So there might be something there where either he reveals it or she reveals it later in the series.
Isn't there also a thing where she's not always the daughter? Like she's sometimes more of like an adopted daughter sort of thing? Or am I wrong with that? Am I crazy?
Wait, I don't believe
Wait, can you say that again? I'm sorry.
Isn't there a thing sometimes where she's not always the like biological daughter, or am I mistaken with that?
Well, so sometimes like you had the whole deal where it was I think in some of the early issues she's had like the robot dad, which is like a few that was done through retcons in like the 60s and the 90s. There were some retcons done there, and then you had another retcon.
You say the 90s?
Yeah, I did. But then during the actual 90s, I know, say the line, Bart. But during that decade, you had a Dark Beast from the Age of Apocalypse timeline. He ran an analysis on Polaris, and she did not share Magneto's DNA at that time, and her powers are what were called cosmic coincidence. But then you got like Uncanny X-Men and the X Factor storylines of the 2010s that kind of definitive fixed it, where Lorna Dame, Polaris was the result of an affair between Magneto and a human woman.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I assume they'll just do classic, whatever. But
I mean, that's what they've done with the show for the most part. Like, they've taken comic roots, but they're not just copying it. They're still telling versions of their own story with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'd love a thing where we get all three kids and Magneto together, because like Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver were only in like one episode of the classic show. I'd love to see what the heck are they up to,
Yeah, I mean, we got that little. I mean, I know it wasn't really Quicksilver, but Morph did transform into him in season 1. Yeah,
and it seems like the Avengers are a big thing in this world, so that'd actually be a really fun. Like me and Taz talked about last week of like, oh no, maybe actually I think it was Ronan's stream where we're like, okay, if we are bringing in a certain Conqueror in, he's typically an Avengers villain. What if we do some sort of Avengers storyline in this show? You could easily bring in that'd be a very nice way to do that transition with Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver.
Speaking of that Conqueror, it leads very well into episode 3.
Episode 3, yes, which was
Conqueror, you say?
Technically my least favorite episode. And I think people, like, someone freaked out when I said it was my least favorite. I'm like, no, it's not a bad episode. It's a very good episode. It was just my personal least favorite of the 3 because it's kind of half of an episode, right? It's a very big building block episode of like, okay, just setting the stage for what's to come.
Right.
And I actually say that's kind of these first 3 episodes as a whole. They're building to something. Like, if I were to compare the first 3 episodes of season 1 to the first 3 episodes of season 2, I'd say overall like the first 3 of last season more, but I think last season was more standalone-ish and they kind of held their own, where these 3 are building to something. And I think we're going to see that level of season 1 in episodes 4, 5, and 6 of kind of where the season is going and what we're doing.
Yeah, and I mean, you're getting like 3/3 of one story that are all converging, and then in episode 4, they'll all kind of do like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as it's kind of the three pieces to the puzzle that then will make the full picture come episode 4 is what it seems like they're leading to.
And I do. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
So when we first got the release schedule for this season, admittedly, I was a little bit confused. I'm like, are they doing a 3-episode drop? But looking at these 3 episodes the way they are, it definitely makes sense because, you wouldn't want to wait 4 whole weeks to see the full X-Men together as a team. So
I agree.
You'll get that like with the next episode, like you'll get the payoff to that. So looking at the season the way it is, I know you would want the water cooler talk to go on for a little bit longer, but if this show can stretch out as long as certain people at Marvel really want it to, then we'll have plenty more to come.
Yeah,
I would agree. I was pretty anti 3-episode drop, but now that we've got it, I think 1 and 2 could have held their own. Like I would have been happy with 1 by itself, 2 by itself. Episode 3, I think I'd be a little disappointed if that was by itself, because be like, all right, like there's not a lot that happens in that episode. Again,
I will say 3 was probably my least favorite of the drop for sure. I found the storyline just in the past to be less interesting than everything else going on. Like, I think a lot of the future stuff was very cool because it gave us some backstory for Cable and everything. I generally don't necessarily find Apocalypse that's interesting. I think he's going to be obviously pretty cool this season, but yeah, it's just like all the stuff, like, and again, I'd like, Ancient Egypt is cool, but like Assassin's Creed Origins was not my favorite Assassin's Creed game because just big open desert and all of this. Like, I think it had a lot of cool ties and a lot of cool ideas. I'm excited to see where the story goes next week. But I agree with Darren. If this episode just came out on its own, I would have just been like, it was kind of it was a decent episode, but nothing crazy. Like it nothing, groundbreaking, earth shattering. like our X-Force intro, or like again all of this cool future stuff, Cable backstory, Rachel Summers, Apocalypse in the future, then escaping and going back to the past or something. I don't know what he did, but like
I mean, to push back on that a little bit, I think that not only did this episode contribute to planting a lot of seeds for the future, but I think it did a lot of good.
I don't disagree with that,
because I mean, like, I loved what this episode did with Magneto, where they essentially tried to have him instill Xavier's dream into a young Nsaba Noor before he becomes this mad tyrant. I like that approach. He says to Xavier, imagine if somebody had started, living out your dream, your desire 5,000 years before you did. And like his whole thing of trying to redeem Noor, and, unfortunately, Ball stokes that fire inside him. But I like that whole nature. And you see that Apocalypse, him being the first mutant, believes that he's kind of destined for greatness, and greatness in his mind yet doesn't mean, evil. But when you get that sequence of Xavier looking into Logos' mind, I got a theory that they're setting something particularly big up there, just because of a certain visual that pops up in that sequence. It's been kind of floating around the internet a bit as to that being the theory. I have a feeling that's going to come somewhere down the line. Maybe not this season, but I feel like they're setting. That
like
up.
So they're setting up some Kang stuff, right? Is like that was
what,
like the
well,
end of time, like he,
about.
But
There's
that was part of the vision
Marvel
too, though, right?
I'm not talking about Kang.
Wait, who?
I
are
don't think
we
we're going to
talking
talk
then?
about that one, because I think the show itself wants to make that a surprise when they do that.
Yeah,
okay, you can tell me later. You can tell me after.
Okay.
I ain't waiting anymore.
I think this is the most I've ever liked Apocalypse. I told Jake on another stream. I didn't like Apocalypse in the classic show. He wasn't bad. I kind of found him to be a little uninteresting and a little boring.
Just like what are his powers? He's just an immortal mutant, right? Like that's kind of it.
Like a Vantos, like a god.
It's just like
savage.
Old man too angry to die. Basically, that is.
That's not really it. I don't want to get on a whole like nerd, gatekeeping.
No, do it.
Like, actually, this is how.
No, do it. Yeah. Again,
okay.
So
he does have.
Tell me why I should care.
So like, obviously you have the physical dominance that he has, the superhuman strength, but he's also telepathic. He has telekinesis like Jean, telepathy like them. He can manipulate energy. He can teleport. But his immortality isn't just being, just having all longevity. Like, he transfers his consciousness into other beings, and that's how he's able to preserve his life. It's kind of like a parasite in that sense, where he's just living off of people, and depending
and he's searching for a new vessel.
Yeah,
and that's what he's doing with Cable, basically, is he wants Cable to be his vessel because of his sheer power, I guess.
It looks to be like that's where they're going, and like he also has this thing where he can enhance like dormant X genes of other mutants. I mean, I don't know if you've seen X-Men Evolution or not.
Yes, I love Evolution, actually.
So think back to the finale of that show, where he took the 4 mutants that he made into his horsemen and amplified their powers far beyond anything that anyone had seen. Like, he's able to do that in all mutants, basically.
Okay. And does he take the powers that he gets from the body transfers, or when he transfers to the next body, he then loses the previous powers that he adopts?
That varies by adaptation. And I will say that he also gets one of the other things that makes him even stronger, and like a more dominant force, is that celestial ship that he merges with. He essentially gets all of that alien technology, like you saw. I think the way Evolution did it was that like Eye of Ages thing in the pyramid that was buried, that technology that he merged with that made him change his look from Egyptian pharaoh to big, giant, and blue. That was that show's take on the celestial tech. So they've and I can sort of agree to Darren's thing. I mean, I was even talking with my old man about this last week because he's the one that introduced me into this whole nerd culture stuff. Even though I really liked the characterization of Apocalypse in the '90s series, the voice from that series was never my favorite. I actually think Evolution did a really good Apocalypse voice, and I'll just say it, if I had a nickel for every time an X-Men show had the voice of Xavier go on to voice Apocalypse, I'd have 2 nickels, which is not a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
Where's Omni-Man?
Sorry, I hope that explained it a little bit.
No, that does. That's good.
I was not trying to sound like the know-it-all there.
No, again, that gives me a little bit more context because, again, I, for the most part, fairly surface level about a lot of the nitty gritty niche stuff.
Okay.
In the X-Men lore, there's some random random facts here and there in there that I know, but I am not as well versed as I would like to be. Right. So that helps me out a little bit. Again, I think this season is going to really have to though win me over with this character that I have not necessarily been a massive fan of in the past.
If your only big exposure was the 2016 Apocalypse movie, I could get
that. Sure. And I remember again, a random episode. I think it was the original 90s series where they're I feel like they're in a pyramid and they're surrounding him and he's trying to do, I guess, some body transfer or something, or was that Evolution? I don't know. That's all I remember. There's vividly, yeah.
So in the season 3 finale of Evolution, he rises up from the pyramid and he's getting ready to leave it. They all go to stop him or try to. He essentially claps his hands and they all fall over, and he just leaves. So that might be what you're referring to.
That might be, yeah. And again, this must have been something I watched 10, 15 years ago.
Fair.
That is the extent of my knowledge.
Yeah, most of my knowledge is obviously the
and
Oscar
the movie,
Isaac
of
movie.
course. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
When he looked like Ivan Ooze. Yeah,
sure. And then the original, which again, I don't
as a big fan of Apocalypse, that movie hurt me.
I could never get into him in the original show. So
you're saying he's not the reason Professor X is bald?
No, I will say if you want some other good explorations into Apocalypse, play the X-Men Legends Rise of Apocalypse video game. That show or that game really gives you a lot of good meat on Apocalypse. I'll say that.
But to kind of go back to what I was saying at the start, this is the most I've liked him easily. It was in this episode. I really liked. I think the young Apocalypse approach I thought was very fascinating. More so what they're doing with Eric of just what if we instate your dream now, 10,000 years in the past, so we can avoid all these years. Have Apocalypse be the first X-Men is such an interesting idea. I think that's so fascinating.
But isn't it kind of naive though, of him to think that Apocalypse, even in his infancy, would go for something like that? And also too, I think that they're learning that time is kind of set, right? No matter what they do, they can't change the natural course of history as much as that would maybe benefit them. Say even if they did get away with it, right? Say that they did come out of this episode where young Apocalypse was no, yeah, Magneto, Professor X, you guys are right.
Magneto was right.
Yeah, Magneto was right. He walks around with a Magneto is right t-shirt for the next 10,000 years. What does that present day look like? Sure. I mean, it might be no better than the future that they're fighting to stop.
Sure.
I think that is maybe the moral, and we love talking about our moral dilemmas and stuff like that, right? And that's kind of the the same idea that was brought about in that in the first episode, in the future episode, right? Is, are we changing Nathan's destiny by being here, by interfering? Was this always meant to happen? Is this the reason why he becomes the Cable that comes back and helps us in the present day? Or by us being here, are we then changing his history? And I feel like kind of the end of episode 1 where it transitions from young Nathan to then present day Cable, I think it shows us how even though they are there and it seems like it's kind of this offshoot, time is happening the way it is supposed to. Like, this time travel story was supposed to happen. The X-Men were always supposed to be present at these points in time, and that is why things are happening the way that they are. And maybe that's not how it's going to be by the end of the season. Maybe they do need to do something drastic. Maybe something crazy goes off the rails and they have to actually make a concrete change to the fabric of time and space, and then that's how you upset Kang or upset this other entity that you guys are talking about, right?
I think what I think is very interesting is, like, I think you're right? It's not like necessarily the smartest plan. I think especially from our POV, who knows the Marvel universe more and knows these things like these canon events and stuff like that. These guys aren't experts in time travel either. Whatever. But I think what I like, I think you use a very interesting word there with naive. And I think that's something that Eric always calls Charles, like this naive approach to the X-Men. I think is interesting. And this is Eric trying to find a compromise and finding a Charles way of, like, you know what, let me actually try out this plan. Like, I think it's interesting of, like, he doesn't want to disagree with Charles in all these battles that they went through. He wants to be an X-Men and, like, he wants to side with them, but he sees that the world doesn't work that way. And I think he's now in an era where, like, maybe the world could make this way here. Like, maybe this is a way of doing this. And so is this going to change his perspective on working with the X-Men at all? Like, oh, I tried to do it your ways, Charles, and it still fucked us over once again. Like, is it going to concrete in his mind that your way isn't the way, Charles, and that this can't work, kind of thing?
I mean, to reference that, Legends game again, one of the last lines you get between Charles and Eric, after they end up beating Apocalypse, and Charles essentially says, like, look at the good we accomplished together. Imagine what good we could continue to achieve. Like wanting the X-Men and the Brotherhood to kind of unify. And Magneto says, like, you need to give up that childish dream. Xavier says, the world needs dreamers to give it a soul. Magneto's reply is, and it needs realists to keep it alive. And, like, it's always that back and forth between the two. It's like Charles has the way he wants to see the world. Magneto sees the world for how it is.
I think this is.
But granted, Charles, like, he sees what the world can be. It's not that the world can't be what Charles sees, but will they?
Right.
What if Magneto would have told young Apocalypse the truth? And I think that's interesting. If he really was like, "Hey, I'm from the future. I see how it goes for mutants. It's not great."
Do you think he was about to say at the end when he's like, give me a chance to explain, and Nerd just wasn't listening? Do you think he was about to say that they were from the future?
Probably. I don't know.
How much do you mess up the future if you actually tell Apocalypse, hey, you're going to be the most evil mutant and cause literally the apocalypse? You are Apocalypse. Like, how does that affect
I don't even think
his life? How does that affect the world?
I don't think you tell him about his future. I think you just tell him about, like, mutant kind's
future. Okay.
Right? And like, if you say, hey, if you don't do this thing, the mutant kind has a way to live peacefully and, like, live in harmony. Like, you can fix the future if you stay on this direct path. But also, I think ultimately, again, we're thinking like Charles here. I do think Apocalypse is a fixed point, because you got to think, if they fix this now, then, like, the X-Men as we know it never exist. Thus, like, Genosha never needs to be created, and we know Genosha is a fixed point. You can't change that point. So I think that implies this is also.
So I think it's kind of a mute point. Is like it. Whatever they do, however much they think that they're going to change the future, nothing is going to change it, because if they then change the future, they never came back to the past, which means they never changed the past, which means they never changed the future.
Yeah.
right? That's it's so
yeah.
timey-wimey thinking
Yeah.
about it that way, but you literally can't do that.
Yeah. We just need a flash of Magneto showing up, looking at this Magneto and being like, doing this number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But
I
no,
think that's
I really dug these 3 episodes a lot.
Me too.
yeah, I did too. I think very strong start to the season. I'm very happy that I'm actually getting to, sit here and watch it with you guys live this week or this season, this year around. I'm excited for episode 4, dropping later this week, and can't wait to continue talking about the rest of the season. I think we're in for a real treat. Could definitely give one of our favorite shows of the year a run for its money. So
I also wanted to bring this up. I thought this was interesting. Loki music was used in episode 3. Which it sure was.
Yep, and we know who was in episode 3.
We were talking about this on Ron's channel, and we were like, most likely not. But we're like, wouldn't it be crazy if this is how they wrap up Kang?
I mean, hey, it's all connected. It's all the same multiverse, so you technically could.
That would be pretty fucking sick if they just be like, yeah, this X-Men defeated Kang for us. Like, they do that in this
would
show,
be pretty great.
You don't even have to, like,
great.
outright, do it, directly. But just say, like, just have Kevin Feige be like, yeah, they deal with it. It's fine. Now we can move on to Doctor Doom. Whatever. It'd be so funny. But I don't know. Yeah, good stuff. I'm trying to think anything else from episode 3. Beast has like a temper tantrum because he can't rebuild the little time machine thing. That was cool.
Yeah.
Kurt had a couple great lines of Kurtness.
Rogue essentially tells Xavier, she essentially tries to push Xavier past the boundaries that he sets for himself by saying, just pull the information out of his head, because like of how much Rogue has lost. She what she deems as morally fine has really changed from the beginning of season 1 to what it is now.
Yeah.
So I did like that little bit of character continuity there.
Yeah, I do want us to address it a little bit, because I think that was one of the things I didn't love, because I think it was fine, like in the episode last season. But I was like, Rogue did some shit at the end of last season, and we are yet to talk about it, of her going heel on the X-Men. And like in the final episode, we don't really have time to deal with it. It's just like, all right, we're all back together because we got to deal with this thing. But yeah, I do hope there's a time this season where we're like, hey, what's up with you, girl? Can we talk about what you're dealing with?
Yeah.
And I probably assume that will come in that scene we saw inside the trailer about like, it's hard to imagine going back to a future where he's not in it. Like, I think that will probably be where that comes in.
It seems like later on this season, some old wounds will definitely be reopened, so to speak.
Yes. I think that might be in the cards, I'd say. Anything else we haven't talked about? I know these are big episodes. There's probably tons of things we haven't talked about, but
I think that pretty much hits everything that I wanted to. Yeah.
That I can think of, yeah.
Yeah, I think that pretty much hits everything, yeah.
All right. I mean, we end it with them all dying, right? So I think all of those characters are dead from that explosion, and we have to pick up with a new team, obviously, because they're all dead.
It's going to be the Apocalypse show going forward.
Sure. But yeah, I think that relatively is everything. We'll go around the room and let everyone do their shout-outs and promos. Taz, you got anything that you're working on as of recent? Anything you want to shout out?
Yeah, youtube.com/ToxicTaz. I think I might try to still get that Supergirl review out, even though I know it's going to lose money. But I still enjoyed it. So I think I'm going to work on that a little bit later this week. Hopefully, get it out by the weekend.
Jake, anything that you're working on, bud?
Well, I got out the video review for the first 3 X-Men 97 episodes yesterday, so you can check that out. Going to be bringing Lost Levels back this upcoming Sunday before taking another break soon because of Comic-Con coming up. But yeah, going to be trying to get a lot of my bonus videos out by the time Comic-Con rolls around. And my shorts have been doing pretty good on YouTube as well lately. And let's just say I'm planning something in regards to those shorts. So yeah, just keep an eye on the channel for a couple of various things.
Alrighty. Let's actually end it with this because I think this is interesting. Which is, what would we say is our favorite moments from these first 3 episodes? So if there was one moment.
I think he said each episode favorite moment.
Sure, but we're going to simplify it and just say favorite moment from the first week.
Well, definitely episode 2, the title card, like needle drop there. All right. Easily is
Fair.
just, you know, what does this team have a name, and then X-Force. I think that's
sick.
Yeah.
How about you, Jake?
A lot of great stuff, but the one that sticks out immediately is that Jubilee action sequence from episode 2.
Yeah, that's overall probably it for me too. But I'll pick a different one and say the fight scene in episode 1 when the music comes in with Scott, Wolverine, Jean, just them have when the like drums hit and like when it went to the beat of the music, oh my god, I had chills. It was so freaking
I was upset I couldn't do a reaction to these 3 episodes because I was out of town, but reactions are coming for the episodes later.
All right, man.
Nice.
All right, crazy stuff. What we got coming up? Obviously, the show will be back next Monday. We'll just next month is kind of just the same stuff. Nothing too new. So more X-Men 97, episode 4, and then episode 5 of My Adventures with Superman. Eventually, me and Ben will do the bear thing. I'll have to talk to him about it to see when he wants to do it. I still need to get caught up, but we'll do that eventually. This Thursday, if you like Jake here, we got something coming out this Thursday. Me and Jake talked about Spider-Man No Way Home and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So coming out perfect time as we are approaching the release of Brand New Day. So you can check that out for Pipeline this week.
Unless you don't like me here, which I get it.
And then second channel, we got a bunch of stuff coming out for that channel. Obviously, more Kingdom Hearts 2. We're starting the Life is Strange Before the Storm this week. Ooh. And then, I don't know when, but eventually we're going to maybe do something with a flag that's also black. So,
ooh,
hoist the black flag.
We'll see. I might attempt playing that for the first time. Oh, yes, nice. Jeffrey. Yes, we did move it to Tuesdays since X-Men is now here. So, yes, Kingdom Hearts is now Tuesdays. Thank you for reminding me of my own content. I don't know why I would do without you guys. So that will be coming out tomorrow. And yeah, without further ado, I will catch you guys later.